I am lying in bed right now, and I'm just going to share my thoughts about uh, why I'm, in some ways, just questioning whether this this passing scene, this stuff that's happening before our eyes, at least before our computer screens or our TV screens, uh, whether it's even worth commenting on, because they're just, well, it's worth commenting on. Don't get me wrong, but it's so obvious that there's no consistency to anything they tell us. By they, I mean the ones who presume to rule over us, the ones who presume to have the answers, the ones who presume to even know what the right questions are, much less to have the answers. The ones uh, who are our self-appointed overlords. It's become so clear that there's no consistency at all. For the last 3 months, it's stay in your home, stay in your home, stay in your home, stay in your home. If you don't stay in your home, if you leave your home, if you don't wear a mask when you have to leave your home, you're a bad person. If you don't stay 6 feet away from other people, you're a bad person. You're going to make people sick. This has been the never-ending, never-ceasing mantra, and scaremonger, scaremonger, scaremonger. Uh, you know, with this chimeric disease, this this whatever it is, and it's not. Maybe it's a real virus, but the way that they've responded to it in this way uh, makes absolutely no sense in and of itself. Uh, it's not. Uh, um, there are plenty of inherent contradictions in what they tell us about it, and in the entirety of their reporting of it, and the entirety of their representation of it. It's so obvious that it's just a lie, it's just a ruse, and so forth. And that's what I've been talking about, and that's what I've been writing about. And then all of a sudden, it takes this left turn over the last week, after 3 months of don't go out, don't go out, don't go out, don't go out, always wear a mask, always stay distant from other people. Big crowds are bad. If you meet in a big crowd, if you meet with 10 other people, if you meet with your family, if you have a barbecue with your family in your backyard, you're a bad person. If you go out and protest the lockdown, you're a bad person. Even if you're generally uh you're not in a huge crowd, and you're not just all cheek by jowl or anything, you're still a bad person for doing it, and you're going to spread disease. And if you go to the beach, if anything opens up, then it's just you might as well just order millions more coffins and blah blah blah, all this crap. And then the last week, it's like, yeah, stay in your home, stay in your home, stay in your home, until we tell you it's time to demonstrate and protest and riot over the kind of scenario that we have trained you to respond to in this way. And of course, the scenario that they use, everything follows the same pattern. Um, it's it's not the police against the unarmed. It's not the authorities against the the populace, it becomes, they have to make it a race war. They have to make it white against black, and they have to make it, if you're white, you have to be self-abasing, and you have to apologize for who you are, and you have to get down on your knees and apologize for being who you are. But anyway, all of that aside, that yes, that's the template, which is all familiar. But what I want to dwell on here for a moment is, all of a sudden, everything that they've been telling us for the last 3 months goes out the window. All of a sudden, for the last week, it's fine to go out of your house. It's fine to get in huge crowds of people, and pack together with them. Forget all we said about the anti-lockdown protests and how dangerous they were, and forget what we said about how dangerous it is that they've opened the beaches and that they've opened anything up, that we just need to stay locked down forever. Well, forget about that now. That's all gone. Now you need to go out and get in huge crowds of people. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're not doing anything irresponsible if you do that, as long as you're doing it for the reasons that we're telling you to do it. So, I mean, again, if it was wrong last week to get into big crowds of people, why is it right this week to get in big crowds of people? If what they tell us about this stupid fucking disease is real, is even in any way true, if what they've told us about this so-called social distancing really is true, really holds sway, how can it just be suspended? How can it just be dropped? And suddenly it's okay for hundreds or thousands of people to go out and pack together. And that's not irresponsible at all. And nobody calls them on it. And nobody says boo about it. And, much less does anyone call them to account for their destructive behavior. I mean, if this is all about seeing to it that justice prevail, that the innocent aren't murdered by law enforcement, how do you rectify that? By hurting and killing a bunch of people, which has happened, and destroying a bunch of property, which has happened. And of course, that's been provoked, as I've said. I don't think everybody who's mad about this case is just an NPC or anything, just on account of being mad about a case of what seems to be the police taking a person's life unnecessarily, which has happened in many other cases, and it's not a racial thing, but they make it into a racial thing. Again, you can go out and break all the rules that they set for you, but it has to be, if you break all the rules, it has to be for all the reasons they tell you, and it has to be in a case that totally follows that jumps through the hoops of every single one of their prescribed of the agenda that they've prescribed. It has to be about white power and white supremacy, and it can't be white and black together fighting for justice. It has to. It can't be that. It has to be White, it has to be black versus white. It has to be anti-white. If you're white and you take part in it, then you have to take on anti-white rhetoric yourself. You can't say, you can't call attention to the times in which law enforcement has callously murdered white people. And believe me, it happens a lot. It has happened a lot. It's so sickening. It's so sickening just how well, just how obvious it is. It's such a lie. Everything is a lie. So why even pay attention to it at all? Why torment yourself? Why bother? I mean, except to mock it. Except and you have to get to a point where you're just scoffing at it, because there's nothing else to do but scoff. It's all so self-evidently ridiculous. I mean, they don't even try. How do they even try to resolve it? They don't. There's no way. There's no way they can resolve these contradictions. They don't even attempt to. I haven't, that I've heard. I've heard no attempts to somehow say, oh well, actually it's different now because X, Y, and Z. They don't even try. They don't even try. It's just follow our lead, because we've seeded these things in you to want to conform, to want to belong, to want to feel, feel virtuous. It's sickening to see these people, to see people who were apolitical before suddenly glom onto this thing because they want to feel special. They want a virtue signal. It's so gross. It's so appalling. So those are just some thoughts, some random thoughts as I lie in bed. Thanks for watching.